Hey guys, welcome back to our series of reading the Bible daily in a year with Mari.
y Les.
So today nos toca 2 Kings chapter 14 verse 11 all the way to chapter 17 verse 18. Bueno, como el Amaziah no escuchó al Jehoash, pues he ended up attacking. Y pues el Jehoash, pues he breaks down the walls of Jerusalem y que se lleva todo el gold, silver, todo the articles of value del temple of the Lord. Y hasta se llevó unos hostages de Samaria. Then it moves on to say that he rested with his ancestors de Samaria. And Jeroboam, que era el hijo de él, took over as king. La Biblia dice that Amaziah lived 15 years more after the death of Jehoash. Pero luego lo mataron, y'all. They conspired against him and they killed him. And he was brought back to be buried in the city of David with his ancestors. So entonces the people of Judah took Azariah as king. Y él es el hijo de Amaziah. He moves on to Jeroboam, who was king for 41 years. Y dice que aunque he did evil in the eyes of the Lord, he did help restore the boundaries of Israel. La Biblia dice que God saw how bitter the people of Israel were, so he saved them through Jeroboam. Y termina diciendo that he rested with his ancestors in the house of Israel. Ahí termina chapter 14, moving on to chapter 15. Aquí empezamos hablando de Azariah and how he was 16 years old when he became king. And that he reigned for 52 years, y'all. And que he did good in the eyes of the Lord. Pero the high places were still not removed. La Biblia dice that the Lord gave that king leprosy till the end of his days, and that he did not live in the same houses as his family. También dice that his son, he ran the palace basically and governed the people. Azariah ended up being buried with his ancestors and rested in the house of David. And his son Jotham, he took over as king. Y'all, bear with us because we are going through so many kings in a little bit of time. We move on to Zechariah, and he reigned for 6 months. Y'all, that man, he did evil in the eyes of the Lord, but they ended up conspiring against him and they assassinated him. Luego sigue King Shalom. He became king of Samaria y reinó por 6 meses. Y pues yo a Shalom también lo asesinaron. Y el que lo mató yo se llamaba Menahem. Pero este Menahem, y'all, he also did evil in the eyes of the Lord. Y'all, to where he even ripped open pregnant women. But somehow, y'all, he reigned for 10 years. He should have been one of the 6 months. Dice la Biblia that he did evil in the eyes of the Lord throughout his whole reign. Pero he still rested with his ancestors and his son took over. Y este Pekahiah, he reigned for 2 years. Y este también, he did evil in the eyes of the Lord. Y'all, and this man named Pekah, he conspired against him y lo mató. ¿Que le quita el reino? Dice la Biblia that Pekah, he reigned for 20 years. He also did evil in the eyes of the Lord. Pero luego Hoshea, he conspired against him y lo mató and he succeeded him as king. Ahora we move on to Jotham, king of Judah. He started being king at the age of 25 and he reigned for 16 years. Dice la Biblia that he did good in the eyes of the Lord. Pero the high places were still not removed. He rested with his ancestors and he was buried in the city of David. And Ahaz, his son, became king once he had passed. Ahí termina chapter 15, moving on to chapter 16. Aquí ya aprendemos de Ahaz. He was 20 when he became king and reigned for 16 years. He did not do good in the eyes of the Lord. It says that he even sacrificed his son in fire. Luego, Rezin and Pekah, they tried to go fight him, pero no pudieron con él. Pero Ahaz did have to ask for help, porque ya no podía. Le pidió ayuda al king Tiglath-Pileser. Le pidió ayuda, pero también le mandó regalitos that he got from the temple of God. Y pues cuando recibió aquellos regalitos, he was like, all right, cool, I'll help you. Luego, King Ahaz saw an altar in Damascus y le dio un sketch al priest Uriah para que se lo hiciera, and he did just that. Ahaz rested with his ancestors and was buried in the city of David. Y su hijo Hezekiah became king after he died. Y ahí termina chapter 16, moving on to chapter 17, stopping at verse 18. Ahora we get to discuss Hoshea. He reigned for 9 years, y'all, and he did evil in the eyes of the Lord. Pero no como los kings of Israel that preceded him. Pero luego, y'all, Shalmaneser goes and attacks Hoshea, and he finds out that he's a traitor. So he seizes him y que lo mete a prisión. Y ahí es cuando Assyria captures Samaria. And y'all, the Israelites done got deported to Assyria. La Biblia dice that all this happened because the Israelites sinned against the Lord. Then it goes through and it mentions all the pecados that the Israelites did against the Lord. So the Lord was very angry against the Israelites, y'all, that he removed them from his presence. And only the tribe of Judah was left. Imagine making God so angry that he removes you from his presence. Y ahí, amigas, ahí nos quedamos, amigas. Les, what are we reading tomorrow?
Yes, tomorrow continuamos 2 Kings chapter 17, verse 19, all the way to chapter 19, stopping at verse 24.
Bueno, amigas, so recuerden de venir mañana for more Biblia and Vibes y tráiganse su cafecito
O su tecito.
Bye.